Welcome back, everybody, to Make It Good. My name's Alex, and this is a channel where I just talk about physical media, movies, sometimes food, just things that I love because I like putting good things out into the world. So a couple of days ago, on Friday the 14th, Criterion had announced their July 2023 releases. A lot of great stuff coming out. So let's go ahead and just jump right into the different movies that are coming out in July from the Criterion collection. Okay, so the first one that's coming out at spine number 1184 is Watermelon Woman by Cheryl Dunye. Not a film that I'd ever actually heard of before, and it looks like it was like her first major feature film. And it was also and also very semi-autobiographical. This one doesn't look like it's going to be in 4K, and I think that's either because it was shot digitally or it was just a lower quality film visually, but certainly not thematically or anything like that. Just visually, and maybe it wasn't worth giving it the 4K treatment. So going over this, she is a young woman working at a video store, and she's coming across she comes across an actress, and she becomes entranced with her and just wants to know everything about this character, and it also becomes this focus of this. This film she's doing for school, but it looks like it's going to deal heavily with her relationship with her girlfriend, and back in the 90s, it seemed there was a lot of films really starting to deal with representation in a way that kind of went away for a little while, but we're starting to see that importance come back. So it's really cool to see a film kind of dealing with that I just had never heard of. So The Watermelon Woman, some of the special features involved there is going to be an interview with Dunye that's new. There's some conversations between Dunye and artist filmmaker Martine Sims. One of the things that I'm really excited about are the 6 early short films by Dunye. I'd like to see kind of, some of the different things she was working on, either, maybe before or during working on Watermelon Woman. But yeah, this looks really great. There's a cover by Eric Skillman, and I really like this cover. It's very, very evocative with the picture of the actress who plays the Watermelon Woman, kind of in front, right in front of Dunye's face, and just sort of kind of the focus of like either, I don't think I would go as far as obsession, haven't seen it yet, but just this really, this thing that she's wholly focused on for her project. So yeah, this looks really interesting, and I'd really like to, I think, check it out at some point. I might try to see if I can find it ahead of time, and get a chance to see it before it releases. Okay, the next film being released by the Criterion Collection in July at spine 1185 is After Hours by Martin Scorsese. This is a film that I didn't think I had ever heard of, but when I checked out the trailer, I think I have seen it. I think I've seen it on TV a long time ago. A lot of things looked really familiar to me, but I don't remember the movie very clearly. Apparently this movie had never gotten a Blu-ray release, so it's really exciting that it's not only coming out on Blu-ray, but it's coming out on 4K as well. So the movie stars Griffin Dunne as an office worker who just gets wrapped up in all these occurrences one night, late at night, and he's just trying to get home, and all these like terrible things keep happening to him. There's people who are after him, and he was just trying to, he's trying to hook up with this waitress, and some from the trailer, some horrible things happen there, and he gets wrapped up in it, and just the poor guy just wants to get home. It's got a really awesome cast: Rosanna Arquette, Terry Garr, John Hurd, Catherine O'Hara. So get some Home Alone alumni in there. Linda Fiorentino. We've got a new program featuring Martin Scorsese, interviewed by Fran Lebowitz. So that sounds really cool. There's a 2004 commentary, so probably on the old DVD, but there's additional comments that were recorded this year. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of fit those in. The original commentary was Scorsese, Schoonmaker, the director of photography, Michael Bauhaus, and Griffin Dunn, and producer Amy Robinson. So a lot of people working on that commentary. But they don't say who the additional comments are. So I'm wondering if it's just Scorsese commenting on it now, or if they actually did happen to get some of those folks back to discuss. There's also a documentary on the making of the film, and a program of the look of the feature, the costume designer Rita Ryak, and production designer Jeffrey Townsend. There's some deleted scenes, trailer, of course, and of course your essay. But the cover by Drusilla Adeline and Sister Hyde looks incredible. I mean, that is one of the most 80s looking cover I've ever seen. It really reminds me of just like flyers posted downtown, where you would have like little posters, just that were Xeroxed and thrown up on the wall in multiples just all over the place. And, the patchwork imagery in the background really reminds me of like fanzines back in the day. So really, really great, stark contrasting colors with that I don't know, teal background and that hot pink lettering. So really, really great cover. I'm very excited about this one coming out. So coming in at 1186 from the Criterion Collection in July, we have the Renowned Westerns, which are 5 Westerns that were filmed by Bud Bedecker and starring Randolph Scott. Back in the day, and I think even still today, folks will have a particular idea of what a Western is in their mind. I know I did for years. And we hear now kind of the phrase the anti-Western, which I'm not particularly a fan of. I don't use the phrase the anti-Western. What people think of as an anti-Western is more of just a Western that's willing to explore more than, kind of the typical tropes that you had seen maybe in the 40s and 50s. And I'm thinking films like Destry Rides Again and Buck and the Preacher, which are both in the Criterion Collection and both fantastic films in different regards. So these 5 films, I think they were trying to, explore different areas of the Western, and sort of heroes that were a little morally compromised, So the first one here is Tall Tea, and it's based on a story by Elmore Leonard, who I primarily know for doing the short story Fire in the Hole, which was the inspiration for the show Justified. Great show. I definitely recommend it. My wife showed that to me. Love it. But he also did Get Shorty, and he did the novel for that, and he did the novel Rum Punch, which ended up being adapted by Quentin Tarantino to be Jackie Brown. So, it's starting from a good place, from a good writer. The next one is Decision at Sundown. This is a guy's misguided quest for revenge after the suicide of his wife. And from the trailer, it seems that, a lot of either secrets or a lot of opinions about his wife, that led to her suicide start coming out. And I think it really creates like this moral quandary of what, this drive for revenge is really about. So that one seems really interesting. Buchanan Rides Alone is the next one. This is about a guy who comes to town. Randolph Scott comes to town, and there's a pair of rival brothers, and there he has this bag of money, and their greed and their rivalry ends up kind of steamrolling him into this like murder charge. Ride Lonesome was the first Renowned Western to be shot in Cinescope. So we're going to get that really beautiful framing. And the Criterion Collection references that the final shot of the movie is like one of the most captivating shots in the entire movie. So that alone, I feel, is worth checking out. And then you have Comanche Station, which is kind of from what's here feels a little more like... it essentially you have like this, a group of Comanches who had, from what I can tell, they sell him or they trade this woman to Randolph Scott's character, and he's trying to get her out of that situation. And then there's other people after her because there's a bounty, and I'm not really sure what's going on with this film. it did kind of seem like there was the possibility of some, you know, not well handled racial topics in here, and cultural, the respect of a different culture. I don't know though. Haven't seen the film. But all of these seem to offer at least something a little different, in terms of the Western as most people think of them. So the next spine number is 1187. I believe this is another film that did not get released on Blu-ray, and that's One False Move, starring Bill Paxton, and then also co-starring Billy Bob Thornton, Cinda Williams, Michael Beach. So this movie, I should mention, was directed by Carl Franklin, who Criterion fans may recognize. He did Devil in a Blue Dress, which is an absolutely fantastic noir film. And this one it almost feels like a Coen Brothers movie in some respects, like early Coen Brothers, but probably not exactly. But it does have that sort of kind of a noir vibe, but it looks like Bill Paxton is this, this sheriff in a small town, and he's getting excited because these two drug dealers have come in. They've like killed some people, and now he has something to really, be excited about, being a cop. And it seems kind of inappropriate, but in line with the film, like inappropriate in real life, but for the film, wildly entertaining. Because he's just so excited to solve this case and find these murderers. And I mean, it's Bill Paxton. I love a Bill Paxton movie, and this is one I've actually never heard of, so I'm very excited. This bumped very high on my list when I watched the trailer for it. Going into some of the special features, we do have an audio commentary from 1999. So that's going to be really interesting. I'm sure that was like an early DVD commentary. But we've got a conversation, a brand new one, with Carl Franklin and Billy Bob Thornton. So that's really exciting. I kind of feel like outside of directors, we don't often see big name actors too often in these Criterion special features. So that's really cool. And then you've got the cover by Vlad Rodriguez, which is just, you've got Cinda Williams' character kind of looming over the top. You've got the cop car there with the light shine right on the body. It looks fantastic. If you're on the website and you sort of like exclude all of the white that's generally around it, it is a very, very, very nice cover. This one looks good, and I'm excited. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we are getting a 4K upgrade, and that is Breathless by Jean-Luc Godard, and that is, of course, at spine number 408. Comparing the DVD and the Blu-ray, this really looks like it's just the 4K upgrade. There's, of course, no mention of whether or not this will remain in the digipack or be in the jewel case. I would imagine a lot of these have been upgraded. They kind of go to the jewel case, which I think is fine. But it is kind of a shame because that digipack looks really nice with the stark orange and black, and then you kind of turn it over and you've got the black on white, very bold, just the lettering. No new art, which of course we don't often see with these 4K upgrades. We do occasionally. Rules of the Game was one that was announced last month. But that's really about it. There's not really much more to say here other than we are getting the 4K upgrade, but it should look astounding in 4K, since it seems like older black and white films really benefit from that 4K upgrade. So that should be really nice. So that's it. That's everything that's announced coming out in July of this year from the Criterion Collection. What are your thoughts? Anything you're especially excited for? Anything that you wish would have been included? I think this is actually a really strong month for Criterion, so I'm very excited to see all of these coming out. So that's it. Thank you for joining me today. As always, watch good movies, eat good food, and please take care of yourself, someone else if you can, and just make it good. Bye-bye.